Hi everyone, dumelang, and welcome again to my YouTube channel. Tatetedo Makubele. So today I'm going to have just a brief overview on this topic that I really am so passionate about, which is marriage, because I am married. And I think as a young woman, I'm very young. I may not look young, but I am very young. As a young woman, we tend to take people's experiences of what marriage is and we make it our own. And that's because there aren't really good stories. Not a lot. There are good stories out there about marriage, but usually it's the begezeling, it's the marriage, hey, marriage khubima, lenyalo ngo jwang, hey, I've gotten them all. But let me tell you that in the midst of all of that, there's good. There is really good. There are times where, oh guys, kumnandi, calling along. So my topic for today is, how do you know that you're ready for marriage? So this topic would be for somebody who's in a serious relationship and you're thinking about it, okay, I'm the girl, I'm the guy. The guy would say, okay, I think I'm gonna start saving up, and the girl would just be hopelessly waiting for that moment where the guy will be like, okay, I have money for Lobola, let's get married. But there are a lot of psychological things. I'm not a psychologist, but there are a lot of things that I went through and questions I had to ask myself before I had agreed, right? And a lot of those things swim in here, and usually we don't know how to filter them down and to see if, am I really ready, or am I just enjoying this moment of all of these things happening? And once you're in it, I've heard of people who were like, I did the wrong thing, I shouldn't have done this, I should have taken my time, I should have done this, I should have. So unfortunately in life there are a lot of I should have moments, and some of those can be litigated by just knowing. I hope litigated is the right word. Some of this can be narrowed down just so that you are sure and you have considered and you have spoken to yourself, okay, I'm going to do this, okay, I'm not going to do this, okay, I shan't, right? So let's start. The first thing is maturity, right? Number one, maturity. Are you matured, or do you think you are matured? Have you handled situations around you maturely enough to say you can take on another person's life and make it your own? That's the first thing. And maturity is something so complex. Can't even. Even this is not even number one. This is the foundation. Maturity is foundation. It's not number one. It's maturity. Maturity is your foundation of everything, right? And maturity, it's something that you develop as you go. Maturity is something that is internal. It is a feeling. It is a reactional part of you. It is the actions that you do after something. That is where you can view, am I matured, right? If you're not matured, take some time. You can build it as you go, but be self-aware that you are not matured enough. If you are matured, well done to you. Well done to you. And let's go on to number one. So you should be mentally ready for a life shift or lifestyle change. So this is how you look. You sit down and you're like, okay, cool. The guy that wants to marry me, he works, let's say, for example, in Namibia. And me getting married to somebody in Namibia, that would mean, number one, I have to change where I live. I have to change. My friends have to change. My life have to change. Are you willing to do all of those things? Right? It doesn't have to be somebody far. It doesn't have to be somebody like a situation that is not of you. Think of your situation. Think, oh, okay, am I willing to change? Because with marriage comes change. You cannot say you will be the same person that you were before you were married and you were dating, which honestly is the truth. When you're boyfriend and girlfriend, it's totally different because you're not bound. You're not like your responsibility. That person is not your responsibility. You're not there with that reason. I am a wife or I am a husband. So your objectives are different, right? And your lifestyle change can be a lot of things. So for me, it was very hard. Oh, it was very hard to shift because I still wanted to be the girlfriend, I still wanted to be with my friends all the time. I still wanted to go out. I still wanted to do so many things. And then when I got married, I was like, oh, so I have to change. So I thought, like, when we were dating, what I was doing, you were happy, right? Can't you know? No, child. You have to change. Are you ready for that? Like, think about it, digest and think. Look at your partner and just think, Hori, am I ready? Like, can my life shift? Can I shift everything and stop everything right now? Even though you might not have to, but it's something you should definitely consider because lenyalo, things change, right? Number two, you are no longer going to be deciding on things based on your needs alone. So that one is very deep. You are no longer going to be deciding things based on your needs alone. So be aware that you are going to now ask yourself these questions. Okay, cool. Let me give you an example. I love Coke, right? No, I don't, but it's just an example. I love Coke. And my boyfriend right now, my fiance, he doesn't approve of me drinking Coke because it's unhealthy, all those things they tell us. And me drinking Coke, now when we live together, I have to decide, am I still buying Coke? Even though I know how my husband feels about Coke, You have to now get into the mind frame, Yori. I need to understand that I am not alone and my decisions do not affect me alone, because if I continue drinking this Coke that my husband told me repeatedly that this is unhealthy, this will make you gain weight, 10, 20 years down the line, I get sick, diabetes or whatever, or gout, and all those things from this Coke, right? And God forbid, I pass away. That decision I did 20, 30 years ago, where I continued to drink my Coke and I continued to do this and I continued to do this, my guy, that decision now has left my husband as a widow. Widower, as a widow. I don't know. But do you see how life decisions are changing because now you are married? So you cannot do things deciding because it suits you alone. So you have to also be aware and ask yourself, are you ready for such life decisions? If you are not, you are not. There's no need to force. There's no need to force. There's no need to push. There's no need to like, I want to do this. I'm going to do this. No. If you're not ready, you're not ready. Take time. You will be ready when the time is right. Number 3. Yaboraro kori. You are not going to have as much time for your friends and your family. Okay. It might so happen that my friends don't fit my lifestyle change that I'm going into, right? That is very possible because let me give you an example. Maybe the friends you used to be with are people who go clubbing, are people something's happening, hobbies, hobbies, hobbies. And then when you get married, you find that when you can't do that every weekend, you can't do that life anymore because now you have other responsibilities. Ask yourself again, Hori, will I cope? Am I ready to let go? Not let go, but are you ready to be like, no, man, I can't do that and I'm okay with not doing it, right? I have to change and I'm okay with that. I think that's like the biggest thing ever. It's like being able to say, I'm changing. Change is hard. Change is uncomfortable. So even with marriage, the same applies. Sometimes change is easy when you get into marriage, and sometimes change is not. It's just the fact of life. So you just have to ask yourself, am I at the stage in my life where I can clearly not be with my friends and see them once in a while? That's something you have to consider. Am I okay with my family? Maybe you have to move away like I did. I had to move away all the way to Johannesburg. And I only see my family maybe like twice a year, 3 times a year. Those are things I had to accept, and I had to also get my family and friends conscientized. Guti, it's no longer the same tato. I can't just visit. I need an invite. Tell me when you want me to come, which day. I'll plan for it. My family also. I can't just go home. Now I'm no longer a child. I can't just go home when I feel like going home. There are responsibilities. Here's that word again. Responsibilities. And it goes with maturity. Then number 4, financial responsibilities. So this one, it's a huge one. Financial responsibilities, it doesn't mean you have to be working. No, that's not what I'm saying, and that's not what I think should happen. I think when you're ready financially, but what I want to say is that you have to be prepared for the financial responsibilities that come along with a marriage. So basically, you will need to be able to make a plan, basically. So if you feel, hey, financially, and I would just like to work a bit more, do that. Do that, because marriages, as my pastor said to us, and I'll never forget this, and it was true. Like, and it's not, because now you're so limited because you can't go out, you can't spoil each other on your birthdays, like you can't eat nice food, you can't buy because now financially it's not vibing. It's not vibing. So like, yeah, financial responsibility is so deep, and you also have to be able to maximize. I think when you are married, you need to maximize. You can't just do everything you want to do when you want to do it, because as time goes on, you have to build this foundation of money, which is necessary. You need money to live. We all need money. So you need money to just have this foundation. You're like, okay, if anything were to happen to each of us, we are okay. Like, we'll be okay. If anything were to happen and I stop working, what is our plan? So it doesn't mean you have to be working, but it means that both of you have to be forward thinking. So think about it. Am I at the stage? Am I ready for marriage financially? Like, I know there are a lot of things that we talk about when you get married, but financially is one of the biggest, because chill it. Need I say more?